are watching The Horizon, the voice of the Amber Woman, exclusively on ABC Amba TV.
Good evening, good morning, good afternoon. Welcome to The Horizon, the voice of the Amber Woman. My name is Dr. Patience, and I am your host for today's program. Today, my guest is Dr. Winnie Lobati, who is not a stranger on this program. And we want to talk about things that have been happening in both La République du Cameroun and Ambazonia during the past couple of weeks. Before I proceed, I always like to start this program by thanking and appreciating our ASA who defend our territory, defend our people, protect our people day in, day out. I want to salute our brothers and sisters who are residing in neighboring La République du Cameroun, those who are refugees in neighboring Nigeria and other parts of the world, that we appreciate you, and that sooner than later, we'll all get to our final destination, which is Buea. Before I proceed with the program, let me welcome our guest, Dr. Winnie Lobati, to The Horizon, the voice of the Amber Woman. Ma Winnie, I'd like to see you so you can say a word or two to our listeners and viewers before we proceed. Welcome to The Horizon, the voice of the Amber Woman. Your sound.
Thank you.
Yes.
Thank you, my patience. And thank you, viewers, for allowing me to come into your homes again today or on your handheld device or desktop, whatever device you may be using and watching The Horizon. Thank you again for letting us in so that we are no longer strangers, but we are just part of your household. Thank you.
Thank you so much. Before I proceed, I want to say thank you so much, especially your family, your husband and yourself are permanent fixtures on this program. You come with a lot of information, a lot of knowledge, and we want to say we appreciate you extremely. Um, let's begin right away. So, because we don't have much time. Um, so we want to start with what is happening in La République du Cameroun. The subtext right here says change of guard or not, French Cameroon in uncharted waters. What do you think about this sub text title? Does it really do justice to what is going on right now?
I think it is just the right title for this whole section that we're talking about La République. Here's the reason. La République, Mr. Paul Biya ascended the presidency in 1982. Gosh, that's a
Yes.
long, long time ago. And majority of Ambazonians living today, I would say maybe 70% or more of the Cameroonian population living today have are under they were not born even before 1982.
Mhm.
And so who do they know? One person, face, one fixture, one guy who is never there to rule. He only just comes in once in a while, make a few speeches, and then they come and clap for him because he passes by the airport and he goes back and then he disappears. He's in Europe. So that's who they have known, and that's how most of them perceive a president should function. So the uncharted waters, let me put it this way. 1992, 10 years after Mr. Biya became president,
Mhm.
1990, he had his first challenge.
Mm-hmm.
Not even just the first challenge. His first challenge started in the 1985 CNU Congress turned CPDM
Mm-hmm.
in Bamenda. When they went in there, he had changed the name of United Republic of Cameroon to La République du Cameroun, which is the name that Cameroon had at its independence, meaning that whatever Southern Cameroons came into that union, they were already fully absorbed, and so they had to bear the name La République du Cameroun. Unbeknownst to him, we had smart lawyers like Gojidinka who saw it, knew what it was, and said, hey, you have already left this union. So we have the freedom to walk our way and go. Then the Congress became from CNU to CPDM.
Mm-hmm.
That's why late Fonangwafo used to say he was the midwife of CPDM because
Mm-hmm.
it was done in Bamenda. And after that, 1990 came and they said, oh, no, we want multi-pluralism. And SDF was formed and six people were gunned down in Bamenda. And
Mm-hmm.
CRTV lied about that. And they said they were trampled. 1992, Frundi went in as a presidential candidate. They said, oh, no. It was not that we didn't want other parties. They allowed some other parties to go in. Then finally accepted SDF. SDF came in. Frundi went in, won elections, hands down. Paul Biya's presidential guards voted all for Frundi. And there was a huge fraud in their so-called election and electoral or elecam. And Frundi was rallied, put under house arrest. The people of Bamenda suffered ghost towns for more than a year. Because he was under house arrest.
Right.
And then fast forward, come to 7 years ago,
Mm-hmm.
won the elections. What happened? He was also put under house arrest and then locked up in jail for a while, I think over a year or two. And guess what? Now, Issa Cheruma
Mm-hmm.
is purportedly the winner of their elections that happened on the 12th. And of course, we see the same pattern. Intimidation, being placed under house arrest, stuffed ballot boxes, lies. We've seen some of those on social media. I will
Right.
give a good example. Batibo, where you saw people stuffing OBS election card when they had less than 200 people that showed up at that polling station, but
Mm-hmm.
5,000 votes.
Voted, of course.
Yeah, 5,000 votes were for him. Uh-huh. So it is. We have seen this before. Their machinery of rigging went into full gear.
Mm-hmm.
Their loud trumpet Minister of Territorial Administration was there threatening, putting people under arrest, releasing the military that is supposedly supposed to guard the people, was now washing the people with some water that they call itchy water.
Mm.
If it wasn't Bamenda, our people would have been gone down because that's what they've been doing. Why?
Right.
Because they think we are cockroaches, we are ducks, we are whatever and whatever. So there's no life in us, or there's no value to us. So they would have unleashed guns. Change of guard or not, uncharted waters. Uncharted waters, we can say it is uncharted for this reason.
Right.
Majority of the people, if I may give you a little analysis, Frundi did not want bloodshed. That's what he said. But his people are the ones who have been spilling blood ever since 1992.
Right.
Kamto did not want to shake the status quo because of the Bamileke economic empire. He didn't want them to lose that. Isa Cheruma with his Nordist brothers, guess what? They have nothing to lose. And that's why they are on the streets. And they are standing their guard that they would. But all this, let me put it this way. Even if there is a change of person in that office of La République de Cameroon as president, there is not a change of policy and position with regards to who really dictates and controls the economy and the resources of La République de Cameroon, and especially Amazonia or Southern Cameroons. France is still there. Yes. And looking at this uncharted water, other francophonic countries.
Let me stop you there because I was just getting to that, Winnie. I was just getting that because think about it. Isa Chiroma did not just wake up one day and said, "I'm going to run for president," right? It's not something that we know. We know when we saw his presidency. It was just a few months ago. Less than So
it was June to be precise.
June to be precise.
In June, he went to Paris, came back and announced his candidacy. Similarly to was Buba Bello. So they went and got the blessing. Like Biya went to was it which country? Was it Senegal or where? And got the blessing to come and declare war on us. They have to get their marching order from somewhere else.
Yes. So the point is that as you're making that there's really a big brother behind all this. So it doesn't really matter. I really believe that France is playing both sides. France is, is looking at things like, well, if Issa wins, if he's finally declared the winner, then we expect X, Y, Z of him. But if for whatever reason the people are able to protect Biya and push him, then we'll continue with X, Y, Z. So they are really the ones behind controlling everything. Don't you think so?
Absolutely so. But do you know one thing that France is a little bit scared of this time? If you look at what is happening in the Sahel,
yes,
and they don't want to lose more Francophonie countries. And Cameroon, to them, La République du Cameroun, to them, is the largest economy in the Central African zone, or the BIAC.
Right.
So if they lose that, then they have lost the Sahel in West Africa, and then they are losing the major one in Central Africa. And so they play the game well. They can play even again. And if they know, and let me put it this way, even if Mr. Issa Cheruma wins and he doesn't work according to their bidding, they can still put him down.
Absolutely.
Easily. They've done that severally. It's not a new thing.
And then one more thing, Winnie, the fact that we know from what we've observed that Biya is really senile, that he really is really controlled by some inner circle, and they say, go here, he goes here, do this, he does this. he's not the one really giving the orders, make you wonder that what those who are really behind him, who are against Issa Chiruma, what is their thought process that he's going to win again? And then what happens? They continue doing what they've been doing? I mean, or because we know that his health is not great and that he may disappear naturally because of ill health. And then they will then decide to put someone else that they really want to be in that position. So this is really a tug of war, really a battle between Issa and the Bia camp. And who do you think? I know this is just guesswork. Will probably stand tall when everything is said and done.
France.
That's right.
France will stand tall. It doesn't matter whether it's Issa Chiruma or it's Phobia. France
It's
ends
right.
up standing tall.
Absolutely.
Well, what I would ask is, who now sits at the table and is embezzling more? The people that are the old crooks that have been doing it for years, they already know all the corners of the house where their brooms can go to sweep and embezzle and impoverish the nation and give what they can give to get so that people turn a blind eye and then they continue doing what they are doing. Issa was part of the system. Let's not
Yes,
forget that. Issa
exactly.
has been part of the system, so he knows the system well. He is not a new broom to sweep the house. He's an old broom that knows all the corners of the house as well.
Yes.
It was
Okay.
funny when there's somebody asked him on an interview. So I don't know whether it was Mimi Mef or who, but they said, are you going to keep the I call it cabinet members as it is? He said, oh no, we're going to do a thorough investigation and see where the problems are, and then before we can act. I said, which president comes and then just keeps a cabinet that he inherited? No,
Doesn't make
you
sense.
can do so
Exactly.
for a short period of time, but you're going to be working, you're already going to have people.
Right.
To be a cabinet member doesn't mean that it is an inherited position that you live on it for life. Just like Bia thinks that the presidency is his father's thing, that inheritance that he inherited. Unfortunately, it is not.
Speaking about the presidency, that's the only home that Bia has had for how many years? So now Issa is the new, let's just say Issa is the new president. Uh, Bia and Chantal and the rest of their team will have to evacuate the premises and Issa takes over that home. Is that what is going to happen?
I don't even think Mr. Bia spends any much time in that A2D.
Yes,
He spends most of his time in, I think, is it
abroad.
San Malema, and
Okay.
abroad. And he
Yes.
has his own private residence that is well built, well guarded. If you want to
Mhm.
Google it on Google Maps, you can find his residence. But guess what? Today is really like being in the White House in America, where you have the
Mhm.
president stays there and works there. It's an office for him. So
Office.
today is
Exactly.
more the working residence of the president,
Hmm.
and however they make it convenient for them, they make it. But it is. I don't think. I don't think they will miss it that much because of the way they have established themselves, not only in Cameroon but abroad.
Okay. All right. So, the elections took place on the 12th, and it was remarkable that our territory, Southern Cameroons, uh, the lockdown was effective. There were towns and cities and areas where you didn't even see a fly outside. And what do you want to say to our people as regards that?
Thank you, Abrazonians. Thank you, Southern Cameroonians. I want to say kudos to you guys.
Mhm.
I doff my hat to you guys, even though I don't have a hat on. The reason being that you understood that it is illegal for you to participate in the election of another country.
Right.
That is a far, far intellectual position that you guys even did display better than most of the people that came and brought illegal ballot boxes and put in our territory in southern Cameroon, and even were stuffing them with fake ballots that nobody voted to give the international community the semblance that there was voting in southern Cameroons. The people welcome the thing. They have voted, so they are with us. Like we say, there is no problem. Just a few people making noise in the diaspora, and everything and calm has returned, and everything has returned to normal. Ah,
Mm-hmm.
really? So
Really.
you guys, I saw pictures of real ghost town. Pictures
Yes.
here, pictures there. And of course, we always have CPDM. Mind you,
Yeah.
in every big, large community, you will have people that do not flow with the rest and they will
Mm-hmm.
still want to do things their own way. And so, freedom of expression and freedom of what? La République, CPDM elites that are residing in our territory, whether they are of our descent or of the extract of Amazonia, they are free to cross over Matesim, cross over and go and vote them in La République. It's okay. It will be legal for them because they have chosen where they want to. I naturalize, I'm here as a US citizen, and I vote.
Absolutely. Okay, moving along. Yesterday, the 16th, the president addressed the nation and the international community regarding the recent elections in La République du Cameroun. Uh, what should our stand be at this time, based on what the president said? And your thoughts, of course.
I don't even think it will be based on what my thoughts are, but based on what the truth is. The president hit the nail right on the head. The elections or selection in La République du Cameroun has no bearing on Southern Cameroonians. Number one. Those who manipulated and brought their stuff, some of them are beginning to resign. At least something pricked their consciences.
Mm-hmm.
However, we cannot and should not, our people should not be bound, one, to be ruled and imposed and enslaved and by a government leadership that is not theirs and they never voted for. I always remember the for those of us who came and studied American history, I always remember the trigger points of the American War of Independence:
Mm-hmm.
taxation without representation,
Representation. Mm-hmm.
the Boston Tea Party,
Right.
tea. Taxes were increased on tea and sugar, and the people said they were not represented when that tax was imposed on their tea and sugar. They dumped the thing in the sea, and so we're not paying for this and we're not having this. And guess what? History is now, and that's why we're in the United States of America, because they fought and they stood their grounds against the mighty army of the time. So, ASA, kudos to you. Don't undermine what you have, the little you have. The American War of Independence, they were fighting the most experienced and most trained military,
Mm-hmm.
the British Red Coats, at
Right.
at the time. And as they were fighting them, they struggled too. They had little or nothing. they depended on the population. And mind you, some of them were brothers and sisters on opposite sides, like we have today. Some of our brothers say they want union, some of them say federalism, some of them say something. But once you know your rights and you know what is yours, you will stand on it. And so continue. Thank you for protecting the population during the ghost town. Thank you for observing it, Amazonians, again. And I just say thank you because I know you guys are ready and want your statehood restored.
Amen to that. So that when we think about everything, we've been going through this war since 2017. So many lives have been lost. People have disappeared. Families have shattered. You may have a father here or a mother there or a child there, but the unit has been broken in a lot of families. We have refugees all over the world. We have IDPs that are in neighboring La République du Cameroun, or they should really be refugees in La République du Cameroun, IDPs in our own Southern Cameroon's territory. We have young people, young girls that are being exploited as sexual workers and all the like. When you put all this together, my Winnie, you have some people that are tired, that are just exhausted by the whole thing. So I want to ask you this question. Why can we not trust that any change of leadership is a sign of hope and progress? Or should we?
Thank you. Change of leadership in La République du Cameroun, because it has never happened over their entirety except once. And that was because Haijo was deceived and asked to step down, and he handed over the power. Not because there was an election, but just because of how it was set up. So he handed power to the vice president then. Or was he then prime minister? Was he called prime minister? I don't remember what that office was. But when that power transition of power happened, you can truly say there have never been a true and fair election. If the people who promised the United Nations that, oh, we will not assimilate these people, who voted against our independence, who said, oh no, we will do this. Nigeria even offered us, said, no, we will federate with them. We are not going to. And they gave us wonderful, and they told them that, hey, you people are going, you know how those people are. The people, they made so many promises to the international community, which they've kept zero. Why do I say that? Once it was discovered and they had known that there was oil, petroleum in the Bakassi Peninsula, they knew that. And so they had already had their accord de cooperation with France had that. But the only way France could step and take our territory was to make Haijo say, oh, it's too expensive to run a federal government. Let's shut down. So illegally, Haijo shut down our House of Assembly, changed the prime minister, appointed his own prime minister, and then made him prime minister, speaker of the house, and president, Estimuna, at once. Illegally did that. The first illegality happened when on the night, the eve of October 1st, September 30th, the emblems of that change was given to Haijo and not to Foncha, who was our premier at the time. Right. And then the gendarmeries of La République rushed into our territory. They illegally force and enter our territory. We had our mobile wings, we had our police, we could take care of ourselves. There was no
Right.
rioting, no problem, and they rushed in there. This paramilitary wing of the French, and they impose themselves. So if we think that we can have hope that once there's a change, it will be like the change that we had when in 1990 they launched SDF, lives perish, and they lied and said, "Oh, it's not because we didn't want other parties." Then they approved. Was it Yondo Black's party in Douala? It was approved. Then they finally accepted SDF and other parties. What use has those? What is the use of those parties? Just a name, so that you
Mhm.
can write and say, "Oh, there is multi-pluralism
Yes.
in La République du Cameroon."
Mm.
Yes, there is multi-pluralism, and they even multiply it by creating fake parties that are babies of CPDM, so that they will turn around and say, "Oh, we give all our candidacy and support to Mr. Paul Biya." So
Mm.
I don't trust them for one bit. They didn't keep the federated state like they had promised in the United Nations. They didn't honor the victories of previous winners of the presidential elections. They never did. So why would they come today and say, "Hey, guess what? Mr. XXX won the election. We have a new president. So let's just wait. Maybe we'll change things." Yes,
Mm.
faces will change, offices will change, some dialogue will take place. But let me warn you guys: the kind of dialogue they want is not negotiation for on to get us to go dig into the deep root. It will be another type of monologue, like they had when Paul Biya said he was solving the problem with a monologue. They dictated, they called people, they paid for them, they asked them to come, and they wanted them. So don't trust a liar. When they tell you stand, you run and leave them there.
Amen to that. So, in essence, you're saying that change of guard or not, they're all working in the same principle. Everything is really controlled by France, as you've already said, and so
Thank you. You
nothing,
got it.
nothing changes for us, Southern Cameroons, Amazonians. Let me go back to the president's speech of yesterday. So, listening to the president addressing Ambazonia and the international community regarding the recent election of La République de Cameroon, what should our stand? Oh, you already answered that question. I asked you before. You already answered that question. Sorry.
Mhm.
So, my next question should be now: how should Ambazonians react or position themselves during this transition phase or maintenance of the status quo in La Republic? Because we don't know whether it's really going to be a change of guard, as we've said, or it's going to be the status quo. How should Ambazonians react or position themselves?
Let me start first by saying that we Amazonians did not declare war on ourselves, nor did we attract war on ourselves, nor did we say we wanted to be second class citizen, loss of statehood, loss of our boys, our daughters, our sons, our husbands should be killed and imprisoned. We did not subscribe to that. The human rights that we are endowed with have never been protected. And not because there is some change of a guard or no change of a guard should the position for what we have lost, over 60,000 lives that have perished, baby Martha, baby Carolus, Mami Appy, villages raised down. Not we Those things were not done by us. They were done by La République du Cameroun, BIR, against us. And why did they do that? Because we stood our grounds and we said we are a separate nation, and as a separate nation, we deserve to actualize our statehood as well. Our independence was granted to us in 1961, which was usurped and was literally quenched down, and Haijo took over and brought us under subjugation, which is not what we should be having. And so nothing has changed. The change of God in La République is because it's the first time. So it's going to excite so many people. Do not fall for that excitement. The reason we are now in what we are, lost lives, refugees scattered all over the world, it's not because there was not a change of guard in La République. It's because our statehood had been denied. Our sovereignty was cut off. Our resources, our laws were just demolished, and even what we held dear to us, our state of the type of governance, the type of education, all those have been chopped. Everything, our economy, our natural resources, none of those have been addressed. Those issues have been addressed. And even if somebody puts something now and say, oh, we will talk about this, we will dialogue. Yes, decentralization was not our problem.
Mm-hmm.
We had federalism that we thought we were going to enter into federalism, but that federalism quickly changed into united and then quickly reverted back to the original La République du Cameroun. So
Right.
your brothers and sisters that have perished, your fathers that have perished, the loss of lives, what do you want? What has been solved that you will be rejoicing and say there's a change of God? Good for La République. Let them have their change of God. Maybe it's one baby step towards some change. And I hope that they do not only sit and have somebody change God and see them. Let them go look what Sahel is doing, how they are rebuilding their nation, how they are taking back what it's not so-called political power. Let me use that in quotes, because even La République doesn't have political freedoms. They don't have the political independence, let alone economic independence. So, do you want to continue? It is like this. Like what Molanjo Litumbe used to say. It's a man who saw a young girl and went and expressed interest that they want to get married, and then never went to sign the court, the marriage, neither went to
Yeah.
the parents. He just only said, I like the apikine, make come stay. And then they went
Mm-hmm.
and come stay. And then they have been sitting and staying for many years. However, the girl suddenly say, you are a violent man, you are
Mm-hmm.
an abuser, and then what do I do? I want to go me back.
Yeah.
And the man said, oh, no, 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 no. You see, we've had kids. We've had some kids. So no, 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 don't go. Just stay because of the state of these kids. And then the next day he's blowing her, beating her, throwing her down, and an abuser. So we have been in this abusive relationship, and even wonder our necks are being choked and we are dying and we're crying for help. We are being choked and we are crying for help. And don't think that because somebody else is coming and this other person will remove their hand, that other person will not put their hand on your neck. No,
Right.
do not stay. Don't. Maybe be happy for them, but let me tell you, don't participate as though that was your government, your
Mm-hmm.
state would respond,
Mm-hmm.
and your people coming back to have their
Mm-hmm.
government in Oya, have their legislative house. And let me tell you the other trap. The other trap is, oh, we're going to go back to federalism as it was in the beginning. No.
Exactly.
Their federalism is going to be 10 state federalism. which means they have chopped you up already. We, the Southern Cameroonians, they are the ones who gave this fight of Southwest versus Northwest.
Not
It is a
exactly.
republic. It was a sword that they used to make us fight each other and not
Mhm.
agree so that they can
Mhm.
continue to exploit us.
Yes.
And they succeeded with that for so long. Don't let them do that to you. They may cherry pick a few of our people and give them some high ranking position and give that.
Mhm.
Does that tie your hands? Does that
No.
allow you to have free markets? Does that allow you to have an economy? I don't even want to go there. Where is National Produce Marketing Board? Did they not transfer their headquarters to Douala and then run that thing down? That
Um,
is a Southern Cameroon's corporation that was supposed to be a cooperative for farmers with their coffee and their cocoa. So they could sell through that corporation and let the corporation negotiate prices for them on the world market. And in
mhm. Mhm.
trouble time, will be able to subsidize their produce and pay them.
Mhm.
But where was
Mhm.
it? It was killed. So I don't know.
Yes, yes, yes. So, and the in addition to all that, the person who is coming that is supposedly likely to bring all these changes is someone who was already part of that system, somebody who persecuted us all along. You remember that Isa Chiruma was minister of communications at one time,
Communication.
and
Yes.
telling everything. Even when our leaders were abducted, he was the one telling the world that these people were terrorists and all the like. So he was
Mm-hmm.
part of the system, and you expect him to just change overnight to believe that you are a unique people that deserve your own right of sovereignty. Absolutely not. Absolutely not. So, Mawini, I'm going to continue on the same line of thought that there is a possibility that if there is a change of leadership in La République du Cameroon, then Southern Cameroon's Amazonia could be better because there was a promise of dialogue and building a better nation made by this so-called new guard. What do you think? What do you see or think is an advantage or disadvantage of this premise?
I like what President Sako said in his speech. Let me tell you, one of the things he has promised is he's going to release the prisoners. Our leaders that were abducted illegally are going to be released. Remember that they already had some conversation in the days of Kamto being in that jail too
Mhm.
with them.
Right.
It is, and will continue to be illegal what was done to them. And I like what
Mhm.
President Sako said. Say that is the first thing you need to do. They will have to be part of negotiation when we start negotiating with La Republique. So the releasing them is not a gift, but a right that they deserve to be released. It is
Right.
not a gift. And so our people, if they release our brothers and sisters who are in jails all over La Republique and even in our own territory where they are being incarcerated, let me tell you, it is not a gift. It is their right to be free. So don't use that and don't rejoice on that and make it as, oh, they've done the best. They were not supposed to be there in the first place. The next thing President Sako said, and even after they come out, we are going to be seeking compensation for holding them and their families, the hardship that it has cost them for all this
Yes.
year. And I don't
Yes.
think it will stop only with La Republique. It will also include the nation where they were there as refugees and they were picked, and that nation collaborated with La Republique and France, and they got them out of their refugee status, where they took refuge, back to where they were fleeing from trouble. They will all have to pay for that. Mind you, France doesn't come out straight.
Mm-hmm.
They will rather you do the let the others do the dirty work. Okay. So once that is done, they will release them, and it will make look like some good gesture. Yes, it may be a gesture for us to start, as they claim, to dialogue, but we want negotiation because we want international presence with mediators and even guarantors that will stand once ever, whatever we finally decide at the negotiation table. We would like guarantors that will stand there to guarantee that it is it is done. Think about the Green Tree Accord laws that were passed in regarding the Bakassi Peninsula, La
Mm-hmm.
Republic and Nigeria. Say, hey, go back
Yeah.
to your boundaries and build
Boundaries.
some relationships, a highway. Yeah, they kind of put some little tar from Ekok to into passing through Batibo and Bali, bypassing into Bamenda a little bit to call it as the Trans African road that they
Highway.
built.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, that is one of the things that came out of that Green Tree Accord. But here is what I'm saying. If you do that, and we don't have guarantors, we don't have international mediators at the table to sit with us and La Republique, no matter who it is. We already know Bia is recalcitrant. He doesn't want to come to the negotiation table. He wants to play the game around, take you here, dribble the Swiss and dribble Canada. When he ran away from Swiss, he went to embrace Canada and thinking that because there's Quebec and what, and they will just accept and they will do this. When they started working and say, yeah, we're making progress. He said, hey, we never sent somebody there. How can we trust such a people? We never send anybody to Canada. Anybody who is there is on their own when they are the ones who pulled out of the Swiss stock and went to Canada. So what are we saying? We're saying is we don't trust them and don't look at any gesture that we look and consider that gesture as a way to trust them. No. Even when they release our brothers and sisters from jail, especially those of high profile, they should be releasing them to the Red Cross or to other international bodies, and not that they will release them into the community and say, okay, come and sit on the dialogue table, because they will have to be examined, their health will have to be assessed, and they will have to uh, be checked thoroughly and probably debriefed before they can be released and they join their families. So we cannot trust and take all what they are saying for the gospel truth that they will be faithful.
Yes. Absolutely. Okay, so I have one final question on this subject. Then I just and then I'm going to read uh, a section of the president's speech that has to do with like the charge, and I think that section is good to conclude this part of it. But let me ask you this question as we conclude this section. Um, Overall, what should every Southern Cameroonian Ambazonian be looking forward to? And in addition to that, what hope and future should we be looking for at this moment in history? I know it's really a big question, but I just want you to give something more positive for our people as we conclude this section.
Thank you. The hope that we should be looking forward to is the restoration of our statehood at this moment. What we should be looking at is the future of Amazonia is brighter with us having our statehood, with us actualizing our statehood and ruling and having self determination by ourselves. We have all the natural resources. Whoever is writing laws or treaties with with La République over resources and the territory of southern Cameroon. They are not going to. We may or may not honor it once we get there. So be careful. Be forewarned. There's no guarantee that we will ratify what you signed with La République. First and foremost, you gave the money, not us. You extracted and made all your deals with them, not us. The land is ours. But what La
Mhm.
République truly wants is that we
Yes.
stay under them so that they use their laws of their land to that the government owns all the land, all the property, and the resources is federal resources, so that France and all who they have collected money from continue to exploit and they go skip free. And we can do that. So our future is brighter once we get back and take our statehood. We already had a conference where we were already starting to put blueprints of how we want the nation to run, how we want things to happen. And that is what we should be looking forward to at this moment in history. Not
Mhm.
what is happening in La République du Cameroun, because we have seen this before. It's not new. No elections in La République comes out without any problem. The winners are never declared. Fraud is
Right.
always there. Corruption
Mhm.
is number one.
Right.
Top nation of corruption in the world. They are among the top five. So
Mhm.
what do we want? Build our nation, have hope. We want to build infrastructures, build
Mhm.
institutions. Institutions are strong government institutions that do not depend on one person, but that depends, the institution itself is an institution that
Mhm.
sustains and everybody adheres to what that institution has put in
Mhm.
place. But then, once we have all the institutions in place, there is room for us now progressing, rebuilding our nation, making that we have good infrastructure, roads, electricity. Um, just think about it, good farming equipment, and doing a lot of things, even extracting our own natural resources, even adding value to our farm produce before we start sending them to the world. And not everything has to be harvested, raw coffee, raw cocoa, and we send, and then they harvest the timber. We should start doing some things that we add value to the things
Mhm.
that we harvest, so that we can stay competitive in the international market and grow. And even if we want to make our farms for food, we have plenty of food, more than we can eat, and we can be able to have preservation of what we have that is perishable, so that it doesn't go to waste. So there's a
Right.
lot to look up for to. And of course, for our refugees, we would like that when we get back home, you guys come back, return home, and let us build the nation.
Right. Thank you so much. And I think to conclude this section before we go into the musings that are on recent happenings in Amazonia, I think it's just apropos for me to just read the charge of the president to Amazonians in his message yesterday. He said, "Fellow Amazonians, the time to act is now, with discipline, unity, and purpose. Discipline, unity, and purpose. Disregard La Republique's authority and laws within Amazonia. No recognition, no cooperation, no coexistence under annexation. Number two, keep our Monday ghost town. Number three,
Mhm.
and remain our most powerful symbol of non-violence defiance. Number three, document all violations of international law, preserve evidence, witness statements, and objective records. Number four, protect our communities, schools, Houses of worship, hospitals, and civilians must never be targets of political violence. Number 5, intensify our diplomacy. Press our case internationally for recognition, sanctions, and mediation rooted in our right to self-determination. Number 6, prepare for negotiations from a position of strength. Build political, legal, and diplomatic capacity now. And finally, number 7, organize our national fund for resettlement and reintegration, encouraging our displaced people to prepare for return. So these 7 points, Winnie, I know that I've read them, but as we conclude this end, I just want you to say something and we'll move on to the next topic.
I think the very good thing is that message there is a message of hope, but it's also a message. I'm glad because what the president just said there to remind us, let me make this clear. We're going to have a lot of Southern Cameroonians who stand for federalism, who will be romancing with La République du Cameroon. Please do not lend them your ears.
Yes.
Do not lend them your ears. Do not believe what they say. They will be the ones that will go and sit at that table, take the crumbs, and you guys will continue to remain in and wallow in the ghettos or in the mud or without roads. And not only that, you have those that are diehard unionists. What do we mean? Those that want to continue to say because they are benefiting from this for themselves personally. They are not patriotic. They do not have the heart of the people. They do not carry the people in their hearts as their children. As one will carry their children, or a good father or mother will think about their children. They think about themselves first. Interestingly, majority of them, their children are abroad. They are not there with you. So what am I saying? The promise for us to rebuild our nation, to create social network for those who have gone out, who ran away and came back, so that they can start somewhere to start. Those whose family members were killed, executed, keep the records. However, there should be some network of something that we, in the course of our nation building, we should be able to take care of our own, those that perish and with their families. We should be able to take care of the families of those who remain. So there is hope, which I alluded to earlier, and I continue to say, hey, we are preparing and we are laying the groundwork so that when we come home, government will be government for the people, by the people, and of the people. Not government dictated down. It will be from grassroots going up. We will vote our mayors at local level, school PTAs. See, some of these things that we're calling today that they are trying to bring, it started with us. We had credit unions, we had PTAs, and those are places that people were learning to do. We had little Njangi groups. We had even in the churches, or we call them civil societies. Guess what? We had organizations within, or ministry teams within, that we learn to lead and also learn to respect and also learn to do and serve our community. Yes, we will do all those again, and there will be sunlight, moonlight, where children can run and play and dance when children are born, like we used to do when we were growing up. And when a child is born in a compound, we go there and dance. When there's a moonlight, we dance and dance, and to announce that a baby was born. We are looking forward to Ambazonia being reborn as we take our sovereignty and statehood, and we will all dance at Boya as the moonlight will shine and shine upon us.
Let's pray for long life to see that day.
Amen.
Let's pray for long life to see that day.
Amen.
Thank you so much, my Winnie. Let's move to the next topic. It's going to be probably a shorter, topic, but it has a lot of information. So from September 27th to September 30th, Ambazonia's Strategic Constituent Assembly held in Washington, D.C. It was a conference that you chaired, and it chaired brilliantly. And I'm so happy
Thank you.
that you're on the horizon to talk about this. You come to the woman's show table first to talk before you go to the general, because I'm sure you'll be called to the national platform to talk more about that. So, but let's start here. This is the voice of the Amber Woman, so this is just the right place to begin. So the ASCA conference recently ended in Washington, D.C. Some major decisions and resolutions were made by the people of Ambazonia. So let's take a look at some of them. I want us to start with one that I'm really interested in. Resolution number 2 says, declare all laws of La République du Cameroun dating from 1961 to the present and beyond to be non-binding on the Southern Cameroons, Ambazonia. Mawini, talk to us about this, because when I think about this, I can see a place, one or two, where we'll say, is that really a fair statement? But you are the lawmaker here. Talk about this resolution some more.
I think that is rightly put at this time. I'm glad that resolution came after after the deliberations. The reason being this: if we uphold and let the laws of La République du Cameroun be binding on us and our territory, then we are in effect saying that yes, we are subservient to you, and you rule us. There are some common laws that are general common laws that are in every society. Don't steal, don't enter your neighbors. Some of those are, God actually wrote them in our hearts.
Mm-hmm.
And those are just commonplace and common sense laws that guard and keep a society functional. Those universal laws that are there to guard and keep a community in peace and at peace are not La République's law. They are God-given laws that we have. And so when we say all laws of La République coming to declare and say that, hey, now we're going to be the one to appoint mayor in your city council. All your money needs to go to Yaoundé. For now, they may be doing all that. But as soon as we take our territory and take our courts, all those will cease, because we will have a constitution, we will put our constitution down, and we will have laws that we will operate under. So it is not to say the people become lawless because they think they operate under all the laws of La République du Cameroun. No, there are some universal laws that God has created for all men to work and operate under. Those laws are what is actually holding most of you now. Whether you are in the refugee camps or you're internally displaced, yes. We don't let me use this for example. In the law that our people grew under, if somebody came and accused you that you stole their banana from behind their house, that person, the burden of proof when that person takes you to court is to show that truly you stole that banana, and give all the evidence that you stole that banana, And then they will assess it and look at it and say, hey, yeah, all the evidence points to that. That banana, we can see the way it was cut, and the one that this one is in your house had, it was cut. The knife thing looks the same. So you can't tell us that you went to them and it's fresh, it's dripping. You can't tell us that you went to the market and bought this one and came and just cut it. And when we take it and put it back to the old stock, it looks just exactly the same. So the burden of proof lies on the person that takes the one to court. In La
Right.
République, you can take somebody to court. Once you take somebody to court, the burden of proof lies on the innocent person. With us, you are innocent until found guilty. With them, you are guilty and you prove yourself innocent. Sometimes
Right.
something you don't even know what it was that they've lied about, and you are there trying to, you don't even know how to start proving yourself. So what does that mean? The laws of La République du Cameroon, they may seem like they are operating now in Amazonia or southern Cameroon, but there will be a day that all those things will be scraped and thrown away, and we will have new constitution, new laws. But don't be surprised, you will see some of the things that are similar in terms of law, because like I said, there are some universal things that laws that God has given each one of us and writes it so that a society functions appropriately.
Thank you so much. I think that is really, really explicit. I think people should really understand that that makes us a unique people. That makes us people that are listening to this government in exile. And so if you do that, then everything that is happening under the authority of La République du Cameroon, it doesn't affect us, doesn't matter to us. There's another thing in this resolution, and one thing that I just want to, it doesn't really need explanation, but it's just something that is a matter of a fact that is important. And it's very critical at this point because what is happening in La République du Cameroun now, you want the international community to see the real leaders in Southern Cameroon. We are a government in exile, so they need to know who is the leadership of that government. So it says, reaffirm President Samuel Ikome Sako's mandate for stability and continuity as the president and commander-in-chief of the government of Southern Cameroon in exile, as was requested by stakeholders and the people. I just said something, but I just need you to explain how significant this statement is.
There has been, over the years, some of our brothers and sisters who used to walk with us on this path. Remember how when we started in 2016, we had a big crowd. It's like a marathon that we've been running.
Right.
And people
Right.
are dropping off on the marathon. They are tired, they're exhausted, some are angry, and they want some kinds of change. While you are in exile and running a government, it is hard for you to really have what we call suffrage elections. Because how do you go put your election? You have to have the electoral laws, and then you have to go put your conduct, and you have to decide who is eligible to be a person, eligible voter, and then you have to run that election. We have not had the opportunity to do that. So when we had all the conclaves, and then finally came to the point where we, from the conclaves, the representatives that were there at that conclave voted and gave Julius, former President Julius Ayoktabe, that position. And when they were
Right.
abducted, then we had an interim president, and because we had an interim government, and then we transitioned for President Sako based on other things that were happening, and that made it became apparently important that to keep the struggle going and to continue to keep the people of Amazonia and their struggle for statehood intact. Julius was actually asked and removed as president, who was president in jail. And
Acting
then
president.
President Sako, who was acting, was now put as president.
Right.
And along the line, they've said, oh, we need to conduct election, need to conduct election. There's no way you can really conduct election. Are you conducting election back? But there is a core of people that are leading um, and leading the government that is in exile. So representatives from the various grassroots constituencies came and said, hey, do we think President Sako is doing a good job, and do we want to continue it? Do we want to let him continue and this? And if he too had the right to say, thank you, I have had enough. I think we need to look for somebody else who has the heart and the passion and is patriotic to
Right.
continue and to push forward. He accepted to continue. Yes, he was affirmed. We don't play the game to lie that it was some big election that everybody voted and we put him. No, it is
Mhm.
America. We all vote for a president, but what we are voting is for the electoral college to go cast a vote on our behalf, who the president is.
Exactly.
So, yes, so this is almost like we have an electoral college who are the representatives or delegates that were there. They affirmed that yes, we want you, President Sako, to come and continue. There is going to be a day once we get home, we'll put transition phase, and we're going to have laws written electoral. We're going to decide who is an Amazonian by birth or by right, who is an Amazonian that is eligible, and what age are you eligible to vote, so that we can vote truly for our leadership the way we want and are used to how our government ran prior to 1961 and all the way to up to when Haiju dismantled it. So we will get to that and we will vote. But in the interim, the representatives that are within the government are in exile from the grassroots, because we have LGAs where we function under LGAs and counties. They sent delegates to the conference, and this was one of the things that deliberation happened, and they affirmed that leadership that it is not time for us to be changing guard. It is time for us. It
Absolutely.
is critical, and it is time for us to stay focused and continue. And thank President Zako, who accepted that to continue.
Okay. Wonderful. There are some two other resolutions that I want to talk to before we end the program today. One of them is authorize the government of the Southern Cameroun's Amazonia in exile to form a commission to draft specific laws pertaining to citizenship and table them before the House of Assembly for ratification and approval. How important is this resolution?
Very critical and very, very important. I think when President Sako was addressing the nation today, he said, Southern Cameroonians Southern Cameroonians. They have their rights, and they didn't vote, and they were not supposed to be participants in La République's election. The only time they will forfeit that is if they basically, let me use the word, did something treasonously or denounce the nation and want to be on and not be part of the nation. So, how and who is an Amazonian? Let me use this: Southern Cameroonians. We are so diluted now. We have people, because of the way they've mixed up things. We have so many people. Just remember when the struggle started, how we struggled when they said ghost town. The population that are not indigenous, to
Mm-hmm.
us when
Yes.
their stores open.
Yes.
Why? They felt like it is your thing, we don't care, even though they are in
Right.
our land.
That's
They
right.
did not care, and they didn't show any support
Mm-hmm.
for what was going through, or even
Empathy.
empathizing with
Yes.
yes, empathizing with our people that were slaughtered.
Mm-hmm.
So citizenship becomes really important, because if you're not a citizen in a country, you're not eligible for voting. So when we need this to be defined and put in place in the records early on. So because when we go back home, and let me tell you, every one of us as a citizen, well, we call ourselves Amazonian citizen by birth. Guess what? We have a palace that our fathers and our mothers, they call, this is their palace, where the family or the village where they come from, they actually go to and say, this is our fondom, this is our chieftaincy, and this is who we know, and these are our family lines, these are the people within this community. So those kinds of things are important and are very critical, so that way you don't dilute our population with any Tom, Dick, and Harry who is a settler in our community and we're not an indigenous citizen.
Mm-hmm. And in this the same line of thought, you talked about when ghost towns started, when the struggle started, and we started ghost towns when they will keep their stores open. The same line, when they pass on, they don't bury their parents or their relatives or them, their people in our territory. They take them to their land. They take them across the Mongo to bury them. Is that yes? They take them to their own
Mhm.
territory to bury
That's
them
true.
there. So that is one giveaway, one distinction between them and us. So,
Yes.
and then something else, which this also may play a very important part. You already talked about the president being affirmed, and so this is important as far as the international community is concerned, to know that okay, these people are really serious. This is their leader. Although you have all the other people claiming that they speak for the people, although they don't have anything to show for. And I'm just throwing this at you because I just thought about it. What if um, those individuals that I don't want to mention their names, that have been echoing things like a referendum, um, say that, okay, we won a referendum and our people will have to speak and decide what they want, with this new change of guard in the republic. Maybe we work something. I mean, that the so-called leader works something with La Republique come on to do a referendum for our people to decide what they want. How do they decide then who are the citizens that will be engaged in voting, uh, if they don't follow the formula that we will use to decide who our citizens are?
Then you've already started on the wrong premise, a faulty foundation.
Mm-hmm.
Because if you want any Tom, Dick, Harry, settler, squatter, encroacher to be a person to vote, you've already diluted the true indigenous people that need to state how they want their to be, how they want their country to be run.
Mm-hmm.
So those are very, very important things that we
Yeah.
want to do. And if we don't do that, then somebody else will decide your identity. Our identity has been decided for over 62 years, long enough.
Yeah.
We were called Anglophones, cockroaches, le Biafran. We've had all kinds of identity imposed on us. And now that we mature into assertiveness, because some of us, or some of our fathers knew, and they kept, and that's why every October 1st, we didn't know they would do some kale kale or whatever, they would pick some of them because they knew
Mm-hmm.
what it was. and they let that little flame, and now it's a big fire that we are all holding that today. But guess what? If we don't identify who we are, somebody will give you an identity that is not yours, or even
Mhm.
tell you that you are not so and so, you are not my patients, but you are
Mhm.
my emerencia somewhere,
Mhm.
and you don't
Yes.
come from Southern Cameroon's root, you came from maybe somewhere in um, Ethiopia.
Mhm.
And once they speak that lie too many times, then you
Exactly.
start believing the lies.
Right.
And if you think, even in the time of biblical days, when
Yeah.
when they went out for conquest, they defeated people, they defeated nations, they will pull the people from their own land, go and relocate them in another land that is not theirs, where they are not very familiar, and bring other people and put them in the land of those people. They mix it up so that you are not very familiar, and you don't know your territory, and you don't know this is a new place. Now you are at the mercy of who brought you there, and whatever they say, you have to say, because you don't even know your way to go back to your own home. So, no, we are not going to let somebody else conduct an election or so-called referendum that they cannot even conduct their own election fairly. Then they will come and do a referendum for us.
Exactly. That's a great valid point. That's a valid point. I want to end the final resolution that I think is one that gives hope to our people. Um, just a moment. Okay, so we remember that the theme of this ASCA was Ambazonia Beyond the Struggle, laying the blueprint of the nation. And this final resolution is one that I think goes with the line of giving our people hope. And it reads, empower the president and the government of the Southern Cameroon's Ambazonia in exile to consult experts and explore best practices to craft national policies regarding civil societies, mining, manufacturing and energy, education, public health, town planning, road infrastructure and public safety, agriculture, tourism, culture, arts, and entertainment. I know when we concluded the other part of the program today, you talked about this, some of it in terms of giving hope to the people. So I just need you to expound or expand right now as you look into this particular resolution, what it really entails and what it means for our people.
It's hope for our people. It's showing you that once we start now looking into the various things that run a society and a government that has taken control of its territory, we need all these things in place. One thing that you don't see in here is the courts, the legal. The legal, we did, it was not mentioned here, but that will be something that we will have to look into, because the legal part will play a very vital role, how we
Mhm.
start crafting laws, and constitutional experts looking into this, that hey, is it contradictory here or not contradictory, but also putting policies in place for how does the healthcare or healthcare
Mhm.
education, how do schools run, how many
Mhm.
months a year do children need to be in school, what type of exams do they need to take. We remember our people fought for so-called GCE board that has been
Igor.
carried from, I don't know whether it's still in Boya or they carried it to Yaoundé, who knows. So we fought for that because we know all those bots. These are independent civil society platforms that are specialized in specific areas. And so we need this kind of expert information to design and put policies in place that are best practices to allow our nation to grow, function, and give everybody a chance to do and be the best of who they want to be. Some people are into culture, arts, and entertainment. Some want to cater for things like tourism, build whether it's hotels or have touristic sites where people can camp, or have even another part in the arts, culture, and entertainment could be sporting events, sporting not just music as we know, and arts and the crafts that we do. There's a lot to be done. What about our roads? What about building infrastructure, planning our towns? We don't have sewer systems that help eliminate, and we don't have a lot of our people don't even have pipe-borne water in their homes. So we want to make sure that we can have basic things that are good hygiene, and that allows for people to be able to have water, health. Let me just say health, education, and shelter are just the basic things for us to live. We can have food, health, education, shelter. We need those ones. And the other things are mining. Okay, we want to explore and extract minerals. And how would that be handled? And if we want to contract another nation or company that is not that has the expertise to take care of what we have and cannot take care of, how do we go about this, and what percentage do they take, and how much is put back into the government and into the community from where it is extracted? So we want all this, having constant electricity and not fake electricity that today is there or is not there, using alternative energy. It's not only hydroelectricity power, solar energy, wind energy. So we are looking for a variety of ways. We are not only going to put streets, we're going to have to put railroads, we're going to have to put airports, train stations, all those kinds of things to allow us to be able to do commerce and to be able to carry things. If we do and have high-speed trains that can leave Nkambe, and within 4 or 5 hours, they are down in Victoria with fresh produce. It's again, farmers will not have to worry that, hey, I've cultivated this much, I can only go sell it in the local market, but they can take it to a cooperative and it's shipped across the nation so that we can have all this variety. And in America, we call that interstate commerce. So we will have to have things that permit us to have those inter-county commerce.
You know, when you really examine this in details, there's so much hope in this.
Yes.
In terms of what it gives to the people, the employment itself, because every single policy that you build in mining, manufacturing, energy, you have
Agriculture,
potential
education,
for so much employment, education, so
yes.
much employment, public health, town planning, agriculture, so much employment that our people will have jobs.
Amen.
And they will be all part of this nation building. That it's just unbelievable how that nation is going to look like. You know, it took what, 400 years for America to be what it is. Southern Cameroon has not even started. But we already have a plan that when we get there, you have those things that are going to be exercised within a short-term period, within 5 years, those that need 10 years or longer, those that need 30 years or longer. And so that nation will be the best in Africa, potentially the best in the world, because we've had all this brain drain that has left our land and gotten so much knowledge all over the world. We'll have to get the brain back So there will be brain gain to build Southern Cameroon's Amazonia. Thank you so much, Ma Winnie, for being on the horizon, the voice of the Amba woman. Let me have you give your closing comments and we'll end the program today.
I want to thank you, and I want to say thank you for listening and letting us come into your home again. Just quick reminders. We are proud Southern Cameroonians. The fact that we've been enslaved ever since the exposure to the Europeans, from Hewitt to Pobia, does not negate our identity of who we are. And I want each one of you to remember that. La République du Cameroun, somebody's going to tell me, oh, but we've intermarried and we have children and they have that. Yes,
Yeah.
it doesn't matter. But we Southern Cameroonians, we have a nation, we have a people, and we have a land. We deserve our statehood to be actualized. Do not be deceived by what is happening in La République, even if there's a change of guard, to think that that change of guard is for our good. It may give us a little bit opening if they are willing to come to the negotiation table, if France permits them. The apology that was thrown out in campaign's Thai slogan, it wasn't genuine. It wasn't. It was just for votes. And maybe a few votes they got. The families of those who lost their loved ones are still wallowing, are still feeling the pain, are still in grief of how they lost the loved ones. That has not touched them. So let's just be careful. I want to give this general advice. Even if you are a La République citizen, this general advice goes even to you. Knowing the style that La République has always handled its presidential election, with fear, intimidation, harassment, detention, and causing chaos and havoc within the nation, when you have a true opposition leader that has won, this time it's going to probably be longer if the fight continues, if Mr. Pobia doesn't concede to who is presumably the winner at this time that is being announced. So here is my advice for you. The streets might not be safe. Get for yourself food, water, and medicine. Because if things get too bad, you need those things to survive and to live. Because you might not be able to go on the streets. That goes to the Amazonians that are taking refuge, hiding as IDPs in different parts of the country, or you are living in your own house, or you have run to the streets of Douala, Yaoundé, Bafoussam, everywhere else, thinking that because there is no war in that area. We never know. The next war might just be where you thought there was no war, and home will become sweeter. And when home becomes sweeter and you desire, make your plans of how you will get home and how you get home faster. And make sure you still have your food, water, medicine. Stock up on your rice, granules, or peanuts, as we call them here, beans, egusi, because you may not be able to have meat. There may be nobody to go to the slaughterhouse to slaughter beef. And you may not be able to have feed to feed those chicken that in your poultry, or the pigs that you may have in your backyard. Or If you're lucky, you may have a few goats that you can say, but you will not slaughter them every day to eat.
Right.
So there are other sources of protein. So make sure you have that medicine for malaria, medicine for bandits or bandages in case you have wound to treat them. Keep that always, especially during this time. The results of election will be officially right in November, but between now and November, we don't know what will happen. And even after November, we don't know what will happen. So
Yeah.
prepare yourself. Prepare yourself to stay safe and to be able to stay to last long. People in our region have been so used to lockdowns that they know how to do this. If you don't
Mm-hmm.
know how to, call. I am talking to those of our so-called proud elites that live in La République. If you don't know how to stock up to get yourself, let me tell you, lights, you will not have lights. You may not be able to even charge your phones. So if you can get your solar lamp that can charge your phone, get it. So I'm just advising that
Great
you
advice.
prepare yourself to stay safe. But the fight of La République, let them fight their fight themselves and let us
Exactly.
stay out of it. Okay.
Good advice. Well, thank you so much, Dr. Lobati. Thank you so much, Ma Winnie, for being on the horizon, the voice of the Amber Woman, as we end today's program. Fellow viewers, fellow listeners, you've heard from her, you've listened to her advice. And one thing I want to say as I conclude this program is that never forget when all this started. Never forget the Sam Sawyers, the baby Martha, the Mami Appy. Never forget all those young people that were massacred in Pinyin, in Guzang, in all the the schools in
Kumba.
Kumba. Never forget the fact that you have refugees. Remember, we didn't have people that left, that flee from our home to the neighboring La République de Cameroon. Never forget all of this as you put this into consideration. The La République may have a new guard. They may have a new vision. They may have new aspirations. It has nothing to do with us. Because our only one goal is to have total control over our land. So regardless of who is there in power in La République du Cameroun, that should not deter you from doing the right thing and remembering the advice given by the president yesterday when he spoke of being vigilant, being focused, being resolute, knowing that in the end, La République du Cameroun and Southern Cameroons have to meet on that table. Not a La République type of dialogue, but an internationally mediated dialogue between us and them to decide the final outcome. And that is only what you should be concerned about, nothing else. Be safe, get your things together, your house together, just like Dr. Winnie has advised you, because the days ahead, nobody really knows. No one really knows what could trigger and what dangers loom in our own territory. So if you're not supposed to be on the street, don't be on the street. Once more, thank you for being on the horizon, the voice of the Amber Woman. And to our ASA, congratulations. Particularly our ASA. Let me say this. I didn't give Dr. Winnie an opportunity to say this, but let me say this, that this is the time for you to be vigilant. This is the time for you to be patriotic, because you'll be tempted. You will be tempted by the devil to abandon ship. But this is the time, this last hours are very important. And you must be firm because when everything is said and done, you believe in justice, you believe in the truth, and those are the only things that will set you free. Thank you for being on the horizon today, the voice of the Amba woman. Till next time. Bye-bye.